Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 11th. My name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and accountable, which is why I'm making the video. I'm no expert in AA or spirituality or recovery. I'm just sharing my experience as I'm going through this journey through life. The recipe we follow here is we read the daily reading out of the Daily Reflections book. There's a link in the description if you'd like to follow along. And I'll just share whatever kind of resonated with me, and then anything else that's kind of stood out in my life and my spiritual growth of recovery. So let's get busy. Today's topic's going to be a word to drop, blame, and character, as in the 7th step. All right. We talked about humility yesterday, and we talked about character today. All right, April 11th. A word to drop, blame. To see how erratic emotions victimized us often took a long time. We could perceive them quickly in others, but only slowly in ourselves. First of all, we had to admit that we had many of these defects, even though such disclosures were painful and humiliating. Where other people were concerned, we had to drop the word blame from our speech and thought. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 47. When I did my 4-step, following the Big Book guidelines, I noticed that my grudge list was filled with my prejudices and my blaming others for my not being able to succeed and live up to my potential. I also discovered I felt different because I was black. As I continued to work on the step, I learned that I always had drunk to rid myself of those feelings. It was only when I sobered up and worked on my inventory that I could no longer blame anyone. Once again, step 4 has to do with making a personal inventory, and in doing so, we start by listing who we're resentful at, but ultimately we come back around to putting the lens at us. Okay, so what I took from this was to see how erratic emotions victimize us often took a long time. I didn't see those feelings as being erratic; they were justified. They made sense. Oh, look how this person harmed me. Look how this person impacted me. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be like that. I never saw it that way. It just seemed normal. It's painful to look at ourselves and go, whew, I'm that. I've done that. This is how I behave. Whew, that's a painful thing to look at. Not many people want to do that. And I've heard a lot that this is where a lot of people go back out because they just don't want to face this. And it is hard. It's part of that self-honesty, being vulnerable to do those things. While other people were concerned, we had to drop the word blame. We had to turn that lens, keep our side of the street clean. Only our side has to be evaluated. We don't blame ourselves, and we don't blame others. It's no. To some degree, it's like I didn't know what I didn't know until I got into recovery. And obviously, once I get into recovery and I'm aware of these things, now there's some accountability and responsibility to change those things. But until then, I didn't know any better. Let myself off the hook and just move on. Okay. Until I got into the AA program, like I said, I didn't know any better, so let myself off the hook. Even if when I did my 4-step, or many of these 4 steps, it feels like a lot of these complaints were justified. Who cares? What's the point in putting all that attention on that other person or that event? Because I don't get any better in that point. So that's going to get better if I blame everybody or everything else. I also wonder how much of what I remembered that I thought I experienced really happened. I can sit and go, well, this happened, and maybe what if it wasn't true? I just wasted all that time and energy on something that wasn't real. And so I want the truth, for of my outside and of my inside. And ultimately, I think that the idea here is to become aware. We need to forgive others and accept what we, if it's not, someone didn't do it and hurt us on purpose, or we had no part to blame, we just have to accept that maybe they were sick too. And that's all we can do. And then we have to move on to freedom. So I guess that's kind of what I took from that reading. And I did want to talk about, so then I want to continue this reading in step 7, because step 7 has really hit me hard. Yesterday we talked about humility, and we're going to kind of kick off to the next page here. I believe we're on page 71 and 72. Yeah, 71 and 72. And what I wanted to just in this part, we're going to talk about character, right? So what we talked about before was how we have these natural desires, and no one more than alcoholics took them beyond their intended means. There's never enough of what we thought we wanted, right? Then it says, in all these strivings, which would be the desires, so many of them well intentioned, our crippling handicap had been our lack of humility. We had lacked the perspective to see that character building and spiritual values had to come first, and that material satisfactions were not the purpose of living. So again, what is this character building we're talking about? So I looked up some definitions of character, and what I found some good definitions I liked were the way one thinks and one feels or behaves. So how do I think, feel, or behave? That's my character. And the features or attributes that make up or distinguish an individual. So ultimately, who am I? How do I behave in certain situations? I guess what is considered good character? Ones I liked were with courage, trustworthiness, integrity, responsibility. And what are some bad characteristics or bad character? Laziness, dishonesty, pessimism, being impulsive, and greed. And ultimately, that all we have to do is look inside and become aware of what our spirit is communicating to us. So we can have all these lists on what's good character and bad character, but if we really are at peace and quiet, our spirit, I think my spirit, will talk to me and kind of nudge me in what's right or wrong. And if I follow that, then I'm on the character building. If not, I'm not, right? So, and then ultimately, we had gone all out to confuse the ends with the means. Right? We thought that this was the way to live our lives. True, most of us thought good character was desirable, but obviously good character was something one needed to get on with the business of being self-satisfied. Once again, even though I'm acting a certain way, I want something out of it. With a proper display of honesty and morality, we'd stand a better chance of getting what we really wanted. Back to me. And this is my favorite line in all the AA literature. But whenever we had to choose between character and comfort, the character building was lost in the dust of our chase after we thought was happiness. What choice am I going to make today? Am I going to go for what feels right and what I want, or am I going to do the right thing based on what my spirit's telling me? We never thought of making honesty, tolerance, and true love of man and God the daily basis of life. I get up every day and it's all about me. And how's that working for me? Anyway, that's the reading for today. Thanks for watching, if you watched. I just want to encourage you to maybe observe yourself and are you aligning with your values? What does your character look like? And are you proud of who you are? Anyway, hope you have a wonderful day and live your best life, and back tomorrow. Peace out.